All right, today we're jumping into a really counterintuitive formula for success. It comes from Scott Adams, the guy who created Dilbert. And it's a playbook that basically flips everything you've probably been told on its head. It argues that the real key to winning is to stop trying to be the best at any one thing. So, right out of the gate, he hits us with this. I mean, think about it. Our whole lives we're told to specialize, right? To become that world-class expert. But Adams says, nope, you've got it backward. Quantity over quality? It sounds completely wrong, but stick with me, because it's the absolute key to this whole system. So let's really ask ourselves this. What if the road to a really amazing life doesn't actually require you to be in the top 1% of something? What if there's another path? A more reliable, more achievable path that's open to pretty much, well, anyone? And that brings us to the first big idea. I kind of think of it as the pretty good formula. It's all about unlocking this unique kind of success without that soul-crushing pressure of having to be a world-class genius at one specific thing. I mean, let's be real. Becoming the absolute best at something is incredibly hard. You're up against millions of other people who might have more talent, more money, or just plain old more luck. It's a high-risk, low-probability bet. But this alternative path? Oh, that's where things get really, really interesting. And here's the official name for it, the talent stack. The idea is simple. You become pretty good. Let's say you get into the top 25% at several different skills. Now, on their own, none of these skills are going to make you a superstar. But when you combine them, when you stack them up, you create this rare and valuable skill set that almost nobody else has. And Adams uses himself as the perfect example. He'll be the first to tell you he's not the world's greatest artist, he's not a professional stand-up comedian, he's not some business wizard. But how many people out there can draw decently, write a pretty good joke, understand the insanity of corporate life, and get up and speak in public? That specific combo is incredibly rare, and that formula is exactly what created a global phenomenon like Dilbert. This little equation says it all, doesn't it? Combining two skills that you're just good at can actually make you way more valuable than being excellent at just one. You're not trying to beat the best anymore. You're creating a whole new category where you're the only one in it. Okay, so if the what is building a talent stack, then the how is just as crucial. The engine that makes this whole thing run is a major shift in how you think. You need to focus on systems, not goals. Okay, another one of his provocative quotes, right? But here's what he means. When you have a big goal, you're basically living in a state of constant failure until you finally hit it. And even when you do, that feeling of success, it's usually gone in a flash. There's got to be a better way to operate. And the difference is so simple, but so powerful. A goal is a finish line, right? Like lose 20 pounds. A system, on the other hand, is the process you follow every day, like eat healthy food. With the goal, you feel like a failure every day you're not 20 pounds lighter. But with a system, you get a little win every single time you stick to it. That keeps your energy up, your motivation high, and you just keep going. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually start building your own talent stack? Well, this isn't just a bunch of philosophical ideas. Adams gives us a really practical way to get the ball rolling. The starting point is super simple. First, just take a minute and make a list of things you're already decent at. Then, add a skill that acts like a multiplier for everything else. And his number one recommendation? Public speaking. He argues that almost anyone with a bit of practice can get into that top 25% of public speakers. And just think, if you can stack good communication on top of any other skill, programming, art, sales, you instantly become way more valuable. You become a leader. Now, let's see how this pretty good formula can have a massive, and I mean massive, impact in the real world. This is where the talent stack becomes an incredible tool for your personal finances. And you don't need to be some Wall Street genius or a world-class minimalist to win at money. The secret is actually way simpler and much more achievable for the rest of us. That's it. That is the core principle. It's not about being excellent at earning money or excellent at saving it. It's about being pretty good at both at the same time. Now, the math here is just staggering. Look at this. Let's take a pretty standard situation. You earn $60,000, you spend $50,000. To get to financial independence from there would take about 41 years. Okay, but now let's apply the pretty good formula. You get just a little bit better at earning, bump it up to $70,000, and you get a little bit better at saving, get your spending down to $40,000. Neither of those is a world-class achievement, but just look at the result. And there's your punchline, 22 years. By stacking two pretty good financial skills,
Earning a little more and spending a little less, you shave more than 2 decades off your mandatory working life. That is the power of the talent stack in action. Good plus good is so much better than excellent.
But here's the thing. To build all these new skills, you are going to fail, probably a lot. And that's where the final piece of this playbook comes in, a radical new way of looking at what failure even means. I mean, this quote just perfectly captures the whole mindset. Failure isn't something you run away from. It's something you run towards and mine for every bit of value you can get. It's an opportunity. So every single time a project or a business idea doesn't work out, it's not a loss, it's tuition. You've just paid to learn something important, and you get to add that new skill or piece of knowledge to your stack. That just makes your next attempt that much more likely to succeed. And if you want proof, just look at Adam's own track record. Before Dilbert hit it big, his career was this spectacular string of failures. A meditation guide, 2 different computer games, file transfer software, a special manila folder, the infamous Dilberito burrito, 2 restaurants, even a gift registry website. But here is the absolute key takeaway. Every single one of those failures taught him something new. He learned about marketing, about programming, product design, the food industry, web development. He was adding new skills to his talent stack with every loss, until finally, the combination was just right for a massive, life-changing win.
So, let's wrap this all up. The old way tells you to be the best, to follow your passion, set big goals, and of course, to be terrified of failure. But this new playbook, it suggests you should just aim to be pretty good at a bunch of things, build systems that let success find you, and actively profit from every single failure you have along the way. And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. It's not about what can I be the best in the world at? The real question is, what's my unique collection of pretty good skills? And how can you combine them to create that powerful one-of-a-kind combination that only you can bring to the world?